Well, g'day and welcome to episode 59 of Kingdom Business TV. Thank you for joining me. It means the world that you would give up some of your precious time and watch what we're doing here. What we're trying to do here, if this is the first time that you've dialed in, we are trying to teach how to do business God's way. Because when we do, we attract the favor from heaven. And when we attract the favor from heaven, our business blows up. And when we do that, we are both profitable and we can be influential and we can be salt and light in the marketplace. So Kingdom Business TV stands as just an opportunity for you to give me your questions, and I will pull on 19 years in business and more than 12,000 coaching sessions to be able to give you my 2 cents on your business questions. So it's a delight to do this. We do Kingdom Business TV, we do Kingdom Business Summits, our big events every March, and we do the Kingdom Business Network, which is our local area chapters around this country and beyond. So it's a delight to serve you in such a way. The way it works is if you've got a business question, you can either put it in the comments below or put your phone number there and one of my team will call you and get you on the show, which I believe we have some callers already. So if we could queue those up, that would be amazing. And I'm going to promote a URL and drop Pat in it because he wouldn't have prepared anything. But if Pat could quickly put up a URL that says businessgreenhouse.com.au/devotional, that would be amazing. Even if it's not pretty Pat, because I did not prepare you. Pretty Pat. He's been called many things, but probably not Pretty Pat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Are we dialing? How are we going? Is it just my mic? Is it my in-ear that doesn't work today? Nothing works today. How about you? I'll go to a written question and you guys work out how to ring someone. All right. We have a question here. All right, here's a question from Alex. When your business is highly dependent on equipment, should you aim to own it outright? Is there a healthy equity versus loan ratio? Is it wise to afford the best that we can through finance? We've got 3 big buses. One we own outright, but it's old and showing its age, costs a lot more, versus a new one that I can foresee any maintenance costs. I guess you're saying a new one that would foresee no maintenance costs and service plans and warranty. Of course, we all love the new bus smell, and new is stylish and presents well, but what would the wise people do? At some point, I will have to replace the old, and if it's a good move, I'm ready to do it now. Well, it's a good question, Alex, and for you it's buses, and for other people it's vehicles and cars and tools and things like that. I guess if, without knowing all of the particulars of how much you're going to pay out and so forth, for me, it comes down to how it presents. I'm not a fan of debt for debt's sake. I'm also not averse to debt if I thought buying a new bus was the way to go. For me, it comes down to this. Every dollar needs to be like a little soldier that goes out and brings me some more back. All right? So if having a newer, shinier bus does not achieve that outcome, then I would not be. If it's not a commercial outcome, then I wouldn't do it. Okay? If I'm losing big time because I don't have the new bus, then I would consider doing it because the trade-off of the payment would be much smaller than the trade-off of growing my business. But in most cases, customers don't necessarily need the best, they just need you to deliver, okay? So if your brand is predicated on elite, right? If your brand is predicated on being the best, total innovation, like that, then you don't have a choice. You're going to have to do that. But very few brands are built on being the Rolls Royce of their industry. If that's not your brand and your brand is we're honest, we're integrous, we deliver, then I wouldn't spend that money. If what I've got right now does the job, because the other thing to bear in mind is the customer doesn't always have a frame of reference about what's good or what's bad. So they don't know what a brand new bus looks like or whatever, right? So if they don't know, then they're totally happy with a clean bus that's a little bit older. So if that's the case, I wouldn't spend the money on a new bus. I would want to milk my current buses, tools, equipment for all they're worth before I went on and invested any more money. Okay, that would be the baseline for me. Like if we're talking about cars for people, like most people upgrade their car way too soon. They don't need to, nobody else cares, the customer doesn't even notice what car you drive, the customer does not care. But you know, upgrading your car and adding a $300 a month extra car payment is just a stupid idea when the customer doesn't care. Okay, because you could have spent that money on much smarter things like getting a VA to do your admin, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever. Okay, so I'm always don't spend money. That's my baseline, don't spend money. And then if I do, it has to make me more money. It has to be an investment that gives me a cash return on more money. That's the way I approach expenditure in business. I hope that helps, Alex. All right, did we get anywhere closer? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, I'll just do another question. All right, here's a question. My Google ads used to produce predictable leads and I made lots of revenue, but it doesn't seem to work anymore. Have they changed the algorithm? You know, Google AdWords, well, the answer is yes. Google AdWords always change the algorithm. In fact, from what I understand, Google changed the Google algorithm about 6 times a day with little tweaks and then major ones, obviously not as often. The thing about Google AdWords, it doesn't surprise me. It depends how far back we're going here. If we're going back 1 year where they used to work, that doesn't surprise me. Everything has got a lot harder in this space in the last 12 months. But I guess it's a mathematical equation, right? Here's the first places I look to. Am I able to draw on this? Is that going to work today? Okay, good. Well, the first place I look for with Google Ads, when I log into my account or our clients' accounts to have a bit of a look around, the first thing I look for is the average position. Okay, now I think that they've just moved this into auction insights, if you want to know where to find their inside reporting. So auction insights. Basically, as you know, when you we do a Google search, there are 4 ads above, and then there's organic that runs below there and goes on forever. These 4 ads are ranked according to silent auction, basically. So what happens is everyone goes in there and they set their CPC, their cost per click, and they say, how much am I prepared to bid for a click? And you put a price. Now, you don't know what everybody else is bidding. However, Google actually have a bit of a planner tool that tells you, it gives you a guide. It's not hugely accurate. And then obviously, as Google knows everybody's bid price, it then ranks everybody. Well, you're prepared to pay the highest, so you'll go number 1. You're prepared to pay the second highest, you'll go number 2. When I hear people say AdWords used to work and then it doesn't, typically what happens is they were number 1 ad, but over time, everybody starts outbidding them and their ad goes, you know, down, 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 down. They become the 4th ad, for example, which means, you know, that you're getting 1 million impressions but hardly any clicks, because that's what happens the further you get down the page. The number 1 ad on Google by far, regardless of what anybody says, is position number 1. That is the answer. All right? You looking at what I'm looking at? Yeah. Yes. The light's not on my laptop to say it's charging, but it's charging. So that's that's the first place I would look to, because you may have been number 1 and it was working, and then everybody else has outbid you, so now you're down the page. Okay, that's one thing to look at. Something else to look at would be, you know, has your website? So you might be getting clicks to your website, which means, you know, you're paying Google the money, but it's not converting, not getting you any traffic. The first place you go to is the website. Is there a broken link? Are there plugins that aren't working? Are people getting there, trying to fill out a form, and then finding out that, you know, it doesn't work, spinning wheel of death, whatever? Like, go and fix those issues. Do you know how many times working with clients, they tell me AdWords hasn't worked, and I go in there and I go to the form and I do a test and it's broken? Like the automations on their CRM are not sending the email, so no one was getting any alerts. Customers were still going, filling in a form, no one got any alerts, all right? That stuff just actually practically happens. And then the third thing is, if if for 6 months or a year passes and you haven't updated your website, you could just be the ugliest website in town. It could just be that your website needs updating, and the reason why it's not converting is because the public now expect that a website is good, All right, 5 years ago, no one knew what a good or a bad website was. Now everybody knows because we're all looking on a device. If it does not look good on one of these, okay, then you will lose. That's the short answer. So you've got to start creating your websites so they look good on devices, so they look good on iPads, computers, the whole thing, and then that's how you're going to start to pick up a better thing. So they're the places that I would go to. If I were you, the way, just to bring a loop to this, the way you get back to number one is you take your bid price, your cost per click, and you increase it. So if you told Google you were prepared to pay $3 a click, you might have to go in at $3.50 or $4. If you had already said you were going to pay 19, you might have to go back in at 22, 23. If your clicks are currently $50, you might have to go back in at 55 to $60 a click. Whatever yours is, you've got to go back in and offer another bid, and then you'll be back at number one, and you'll push everybody else down. Okay, they're my quick go-tos when people tell me that Google AdWords used to work and it doesn't anymore. All right, how is that URL up and active? Right, well done, pretty Pat. So that URL you've got on the screen there, businessgreenhouse.com.au/devotional. I want you to go there and you can access a devotional that I recorded over 7 days. So every morning for 7 days, I taught scripture from the Bible in the marketplace. And it was really powerful, it was impacting. We had about 350 people that joined me over that week, and I just basically taught, and I recorded it all. And so I'm making that available to you. You can have both the video, and we've ripped out the audio files and made them available. So if you're at the gym or you're driving or something like that, you can listen to the audio. You don't have to necessarily watch the video. So you can go to that URL and go and grab that right now. All right, how are we going with the call? Okay, good. I'm getting a thumbs up from the pit crew here. Should I be hearing something? Should I be? Should I be? How's the technology? Okay. Well, I don't think we have another one. Yeah. So just, are we looking at Cassandra's now? No, go to the next one. Done it. Nope. I'm sorry, fellas. Not on the screen you gave me, it's not. Okay. All right, thanks, Craig. Can you bring up the question? Just talk amongst yourselves there for a moment. All right, so Craig's going to bring that up, and I'm going to answer a question. And one day this is going to be a seamless transition where we get questions to me. I think we might just go back to writing them down or smoke signals or something. All right, thanks. All right, when does a kingdom business owner know when to bring out the lion versus the lamb if someone can't pay the money owed to you? It's 200 days overdue. All right, good question. Very good, actually. So we've got a distinction here between the lion and the lamb. Grace versus law. Being ferocious versus being gracious. First and foremost, whenever somebody says to me, I've got debtors or I've got somebody that doesn't pay, the first thing we have to do is go, it's your fault. Okay? Why? Because that's leadership. Right? Everything falls on me. It's my fault everything that happens around here, right? When these guys don't do something, my fault, should have set up a better system. So when somebody's not paying, it's my fault, should have set up a better system. Because you've got to remember that in this particular case, you've let them get to 200 days. So you've got to take ownership over this. And then you've got to go, okay, the lesson is I shouldn't do it anymore. What's the system I need to put in place so it never happens again, all right? This is not just your scenario. I would say every single time something happens that you don't like, you've got to take the lesson and then systemize it so it doesn't happen again. What's the system? It's a 3-step system. When you enforce your terms, okay, just to give it to you quickly. When somebody's not paying you, one day, so whenever you want to start collecting, you call them. And the first call is a oops. It's a, hey, your account's overdue, you must have overlooked it, can you please pay, when will you pay, get a commitment from them, and then say, I'll call you back if the money's not in the account on that day. So that's the first phone call. It's nice and soft. The second phone call, if it's not in the day after they said it would be, it's, hey, and now you're a curt phone call and you say, hey, the money's not in there. You promised it would be. When can I expect it to be paid? Get a commitment from them and tell them you'll call them if it's not paid. All right, that's the second one. By then you will have probably collected most of your money. When they don't honor that payment, you call them back the third time and you say, hey, that remains outstanding. You still haven't paid it. You told me this, you haven't done it. Just want to give you 24 more hours to pay that account. Otherwise, I'll be referring it out to the tax collector. I'll be giving it to Zacchaeus. And I'll be sending it out to the debt collector, and then all their fees will be added on top. That's the three-step process. You've got to do it. You've got to stick to it. You've got to stick to your terms, because you've got to retrain your customers that you do like money, because you've been letting them off the fact that you don't. All right, so when do you bring out the lion versus the lamb? See, I'm just more of a fan of the lion, right, when it comes to the people that have not paid you what they owe you. Very occasionally, I think God would say to someone, hey, let them off that money. Very occasionally, God may say, extend some grace to this person, you know, and by the way, you can just be led by the Spirit. There's, you know, on this, you'll get a sense of, I really need to extend, you know, some grace and let them off for whatever reason. God knows more than we do, so that would be a good thing to follow. So that's a good idea. However, most Christians take the grace route because they're scared of confrontation. They build a theology around their lack of leadership. So if somebody owes you money and you don't get a check in your spirit that you should let them go, then go for it. Don't build a theology around it that goes, oh, I'm just so scared of talking to people about money that I'm going to say, oh, the Lord, you know, we're grace, not law. It's just rubbish. You're going to go broke, all right? Go for your money. By the way, if you ring them and they say, I don't have it, say, great, but how much do you have today? Right? If they owe you $4,000 and they've got $100 today, great. Put it through a credit card. Right, done. I'm ringing you back in 4 days' time. We're going to do it again. We're going to go on a payment plan. We're going to get this thing done. Okay, you go and train them. Okay, but get on the phone. Sending a statement is a really bad idea if you don't follow it up with a phone call. Right, just get on the phone. At 200 days overdue, you would then have to look at the terms and conditions they agreed to. If you had clearly defined terms, a page of terms and conditions, and they signed them, and on those terms and conditions, it says that you can charge administration fees and it says that you can on-charge collection fees, then you just take that straight to a collection company, right? Dun & Bradstreet, EC Credit Control, Prushka. You take it straight to those guys and you say, here's what they signed, here's the communication we've had, go chase my money. And if it's a $500 debt, then they'll add their $500 for collecting it and the client will have to pay heaps. They'll go to court for you, they'll go to mediation, and it'll get paid. Some people say to me, well, what about the cost? What about the cost? If it takes me 17 hours to get back $400, then that doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make sense. So you've just got to decide a commercial outcome. Do you want to chase the money so that you refine your process, so that you've got a process for the next time somebody does it? Or do you just want to walk away because it's not commercial? But either of those are good decisions. For me, I would rather, out of principle, chase somebody that owes me money, because then I can learn the process, map it out, and create systems so that the next time I get a bad customer, I can just put them into the machine rather than be fretting about what to do and da-da-da-da-da, okay? That's typically how I would handle it. But if it's 200 days overdue, you're probably going to have a hell of a time getting that money because you didn't have a system to handle it when it was 20 days overdue. And that's the lesson. You've got to create a better system to catch these before they compound, okay? Depending on how much it is, you've also got the small claims tribunal, which you can go through. There's a bit of a cost to go and do that. I definitely would, I mean, depending on how much it is, I would go through small claims, because even the threat of small claims makes some people, fess up and start paying, because some people just want to push their luck into the very end. And so by filing with small claims, they finally get the small claims paperwork to say, cough up, we're going to have mediation, and then they finally pay. They were just pushing their luck for too long to see how they would go, okay? And you've basically called their bluff, and then you get your monies. That's how I would handle it. Just not a big fan of letting people off for the sake of letting people off. How we going? We good? Okay, good. I've got this on. Not sure if she's from Hawaii or she's ringing someone on the phone. Ew. I can't hear anything though. Happy days. Happy days on the episode 59. You would think that by 59, we would be ripping through our systems and our technology, but we are not. All right, don't worry. Let me have a quick look in the chat and see what's been happening while I've been pontificating on here. Michelle Pilt, appreciate you joining me. Scotty Redmond, thank you. Isaac, Simon. All right. Oh, yep, that was a question that was in there. Okay, very good. There's the link for the devotional. Tracy, Gary, Greg. Well, that's it for episode 59. I've got to get all the way to Brisbane because I'm talking at a Kingdom Business Network chapter. It's been amazing, actually. There's been about 170 chapter meetings around the country since we launched KBN. And I went to the Gold Coast one for the first time 2 weeks ago. I went to Melbourne last week with Bumi running the chapter down there. Tonight I'm going to Brisbane. I'm going to go to Cairns and I'm going to go to Adelaide. And I've dialed into a couple of chapters, dialed into Mildura, dialed into one of the Sydney chapters this morning at silly o'clock. So it's been a real delight actually to kind of meet a whole bunch of the KBN members. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to KBN, do me a favor right now. Go to kingdombusiness.com.au/network. kingdombusiness.com.au/network and join. It's $49 a year to be part of a huge move of God, and it's insanely valuable. So you should go and join, just out of principle. Anyway, I'll be back for episode 30 on Monday. Maybe. Bless you.